people are, you understand that? You have to have, the size has to be very similar, although now we're starting to do living liver transplants as well as living lung transplants. You know a little bit about this, don't you? That's good. So I don't know exactly how that works at this point, but some people are more fortunate than others when they receive their transplants, and I do know a couple of people who have had to have 2 liver transplants. The first one didn't work, and they were sick for a year and a half, and then they had another one, and both those people are now very, very healthy as a result of their second chance of having a liver. So sometimes the match doesn't work, but in other cases, and I know for George and myself, the match was very good. And sometimes I think that it was meant to be that way, because it has been so successful, and we have been very fortunate, because we wouldn't be here today if that hadn't happened.
I mean, I misunderstood when you talked about the driver's license and the sticker. That needs to be more done than that?
Yes, we have.
So that's that 800 number that was on television, on TV. They have ads for the registry, so that's what they're referring to now?
Yes.
Actually, no,
okay.
actually what that number, you seen the one with the candles?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, that's the national number.
Okay.
BC has a very unique system, and it's the best one in Canada. They have a registry, and it goes into a data bank. The other provinces don't have that. They're using their driver's license still.
Okay.
So bring any up here.
So you have
BC's present system, and there's not enough media awareness at this point. So it's up to you guys. Any more questions?
How many hours a day do you walk?
I walk about 5 hours a day, about 25 kilometers a day.
And I mind the road. I make sure there's no bears and things like that. Remember that morning we were walking in the wrong direction, and I had to go ahead, and I figured out God has turned around in time, but he wouldn't have been where he was supposed to be at a certain time if we hadn't done that. So, you know, occasionally we don't know where we're going, and we have to make sure that we do know where we're going. So
Really yucky subject, you know, to think about this and everything. But what we're trying to do is reach high schools so that they do have an opportunity to think about it and discuss it with their parents and friends, because it is a really important decision in your lifetime. You know, and it's about giving. You know, if you're thinking about this, that means you're thinking about other people, which really makes it an important thing to think about. So we just wanted to leave you with this message today, you know, to think about it and to discuss it with your friends and families. And, you know, the act of becoming a donor, and I can't stress this enough, you're a hero. You really are, because I'm doing this walk across Canada because somebody saved my life. And I'm honoring that person. And that's why I'm walking across Canada, because they're my hero. And that's why I'm doing it. Okay?
Do you guys know who your donors were?
No, I don't. Right now in Canada, we can't know. We can only communicate through a screen letter. Right? And but one day I'm hoping to change that. And you know, because I think about the donor family. You know, it feels like they're an extended family. You know, and I'm sure that
was a high school kid who was killed in a car accident. And we met somebody at a mall the other day. We meet all kinds of people who come out and talk to us, and we met one woman whose 16-year-old child was killed in an accident, and she donated all his organs, and she came back to say that she was starting to hear back from 5 different families who had received the gift of life from her son. And she was really grateful. She came out and she talked to us, and this happened almost 10 years ago, and she was very grateful that we were actually doing this. And So that was in one day. We met 5 different people that day who represented 5 different parts of this whole situation. We met somebody who, we met a little boy who was 4.5 years old who had a transplant at 6 months. And we met somebody else who had a nephew who had a transplant at 5, and he was now 16, and he needed not only 1 transplant, but he needed 2 organ transplants because the first one wasn't working very effectively. So there's people all over the place who need this information, who need this help, and who need to know that there's somebody out there that is actually trying to make the system better than what it is.
When an organ fails, what do they do with the organ? Just get rid of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's no good. And if I can give you an example, I know that this is not very pretty, but my liver, when my liver was ravaged by a disease, and when it came out, it looked like an old softball. I remember seeing a picture of it. It looked like an old softball that had been dropped in a mud puddle and then thrown against the wall. And a brand new liver that is not diseased looks like a turkey breast. Does everybody know how big the liver is?
No.
In a grown-up person, it's 3.5 to 5 pounds, and it's the size of a football. So you guys who play football out there, if you can imagine, that is how big your liver is. And I've talked to university professors who didn't know how big their liver was. I had one woman say, "This big?" I said, "No, sorry, it's this big." Any more questions? It is now 11:15. Same day, June 14th, and we're at a school called Coraloo. We're going to do another presentation. I'm speaking to the camera.
Oh.
Hi, Jerry.
Okay. Hi.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Plans getting set up. From 5 to 12, we have to leave to go for the Rotary Cup lunch, which is just down the street.
Right.
Actually, here you wouldn't have to. This is enough to discuss out there already. Totally, yeah.
Come on in. Are the other two there? There's supposed to be one more. Who's the other one? Marilyn. Marissa's taking Marilyn's place. Okay. Who's the other one?
They were all 3P classes, so
Ballad Rudd is in
I
there.
don't know who the other class was.
It's supposed to be Ballad is probably in there.
Oh. Okay. Now, do you want a microphone? We've got a microphone for you.
Doesn't matter.
No, we've got 2 classes, and I'm not sure where the 3rd one is. They're lost. Yes. Well, having that booth set up in the morning actually inspired our family to get our organ donor cards filled out and mailed in.
Yeah. Good.
So that's great.
That's a great.
Okay, I'll go see if I can find the other.